I spent 2 months judging my neighbor for parking like an idiot until I learned the real reason. For nearly 2 months, I was convinced my neighbor was the worst driver in the entire street. Every evening when I came home from work, his car would be parked at a ridiculous angle. Sometimes it was halfway over the line, sometimes it looked like he had simply given up halfway through parking. The rest of us spent ages carefully fitting our cars into the limited spaces, while he seemed completely uninterested in trying. It became a running joke among the neighbors. Every time someone saw his car, they'd laugh and say he must have passed his driving test in a cereal box. Then one evening I came home earlier than usual and saw him getting out of the car. To my surprise, he wasn't alone. He carefully walked around to the passenger side and helped an elderly woman out of the vehicle. She was clearly struggling to move and needed extra space to open the door fully. Over the next few days, I noticed the same thing happening again and again. It turned out the woman was his mother, and he had recently become her full-time carer after she developed serious mobility issues. The reason he parked at strange angles wasn't because he couldn't drive. He was trying to leave enough room so she could get in and out safely. Suddenly, something I had been laughing about for weeks looked completely different. A few days later, I bumped into him and apologized for making assumptions. He laughed and admitted he knew people probably thought he was terrible at parking. Then he said something I'll never forget. He told me he'd rather have people think he was a bad driver than make his mom struggle for even one extra second. After that, nobody on the street joked about his parking anymore. In fact, several neighbors started leaving extra space around his car whenever possible. Sometimes we think we know someone's story just because we see a small piece of their life. The truth is usually a lot more complicated than it looks from the outside.